Maine's commercial fishermen are back at work after celebrating a successful year in 2024. The total catch from all of Maine's fisheries last year was worth $700 million at the dock. Not a record, but a good year.
Those numbers were released during the annual Maine Fishermen's Forum, an event that began 50 years ago. And as 207's Don Kerrigan tells us, has now become an essential part of Maine's fishing industry.
The world of commercial fishing becomes more complicated every year. Government regulation, science, and ever-changing natural and social environment to work in. 50 years ago, a couple of people had the idea to bring Maine fishermen together to talk about it. All these years later, they're still doing it. Whether it's listening for details of major issues, or just listening to how each other did during the past year, the Maine Fishermen's Forum has become the one time of year, the one place where fishermen and those who work with them can come together and figure it all out.
It's a great place to gather, to get good information, and have a good time.
Jerry Cushman, Kristen Porter, and Steve Train are leaders of Maine's lobster industry.
There's people you only see here every year, so everybody looks forward to coming.
These three have been coming to the forum since they were kids or young men. Over the years, they have also become leaders of the annual event.
We look, the three of us. I'm from Western Maine, not the New Hampshire border, but I'm from Casco Bay. He's from the center of the mid-coast, and he's practically in Canada.
And through the forum, they have also become fast friends.
And the three of us are inseparable when we get here. We are as tight as anybody. These two I'm as tight with as any friends I have.
For 50 years, the Fishermen's Forum at the Samoset Resort has been forging friendships and understanding, which was the idea, in part, when Robin Alden and Jim Wilson organized the first one in 1975.
And I think that one of the miracles of this forum is that it's a vibrant institution. It is continuing. There are younger people getting involved in being on the board.
Alden had started a commercial fisheries newspaper and was working for Wilson, a University of Maine researcher studying fishing issues. Their idea from the start was to get fishermen talking face to face with scientists and government officials and each other.
We've all been to public meetings where they're up there, you're down here, you never see them other than from 50 yards away, and it's hard to address complicated things that way.
And it worked. Over time, the forum became its own nonprofit run by and for fishermen.
Talking to federal scientists and bureaucrats, not all of them love coming here, but a lot of them say this is the only place where they have a chance to have the kind of substantive conversations that they can have here. And it's that really contributes to the science, the knowledge, the decisions.
There's also a chance to see what's new at the trade show. From boots to bibs to great big engines, fishing has seen massive technology changes. Today, Maine fishermen cope with a very different world.
And the forum adapts. Yep. The sessions are set to what's going on. We have aquaculture discussed now. We have a clam day or shellfish day.
Lobster, of course, is now the dominant fishery in Maine. In fact, the Maine Lobstermen's Association holds its annual meeting at the forum. It coincides with the state's annual report on the previous year's lobster catch. This time, it was 10 million pounds less than the year before. But the prices were high, so fishermen still hauled in $528 million at the dock. A reminder, if needed, that fishing still matters to Maine.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you how important it is. There's rarely a year that the governor, whatever governor it is, or our congressional delegation aren't here, because that's how important it is. And they know these are the people that, keep the economy going in the coast.
You asked the question, how important it is. I guess the question is, how important is the seafood industry as a whole to the state of Maine?
Do you come every year?
Yes.
50 years.
I think we both got a perfect record,
Yeah,
don't we? Yes.
Absolutely. I actually cannot conceive of not going.
The two founders say the forum is still working and that it's given fishermen a voice they never had before.
Fishermen's knowledge has been able to jump into science through the interactions in the forum.
Discussions about change seem more civil here. There are people that get loud, there are people that get angry, but they seem more civil here. Everyone feels like it's their place, no matter which side they're on.
The Fishermen's Forum, they say, has helped Maine's oldest industry and the thousands who depend on it to keep charting an ever-changing course.
And national politics intruded over the closing hours of the forum when the news came along that the Trump administration is immediately cutting out funding for the Sea Grant program at the University of Maine, which helps pay for a range of research and educational projects.
That program has been around for many years, and Robin Alden tells us Sea Grant funding helped get the Fishermen's Forum started.